You know, for over a century, we've analyzed all the complex politics and treaties that led to World War I. But what if I told you the modern world was set on fire, not by some grand strategy, but because a driver just made a wrong turn? It sounds completely impossible, right? Well, that's exactly what we're going to dig into.
I mean, it's almost impossible to wrap your head around the scale of the First World War. We're talking 20 million deaths, 4 colossal empires, the Russian, the German, the Austro-Hungarian, and the Ottoman, all just crumbled into dust. This one conflict really set the stage for the entire 20th century.
And the terrifying, almost unbelievable truth? This global catastrophe, this entire chain reaction of history, can be traced back to one single moment, a moment of simple human error, a mistake made on a city street.
So how could one tiny event have such an unbelievably enormous impact? Well, to get it, we've got to go back. Let's rewind the tape to the very beginning.
Okay, so picture this. The place is Sarajevo, in Bosnia. The date is June 28, 1914. It's a nice, sunny Sunday morning, and there's a motorcade making its way through the city.
In the main car, you've got Archduke Franz Ferdinand. He's the heir to the entire powerful Austro-Hungarian Empire, and he's with his wife, Sophie. Officially, they're in town to inspect some troops, but it also just happens to be their wedding anniversary. They look happy, relaxed, completely unaware of the danger they're in.
Because here's the thing, they are not welcome here. Hidden in the crowds, right along their parade route, are 6 young assassins from a secret society called the Young Bosnians. They want freedom from the empire, and they've been given bombs and pistols to make it happen.
The assassins have their plan all laid out, and the motorcade is heading right for them. But what's about to happen is just this cascade of failures and close calls and pure dumb luck that really should have sent history down a completely different road.
So it's 10:10 a.m., and the car's past the first assassin. He's got his chance, and he just freezes up, does nothing. Then they get to the second guy. He's a bit bolder. He actually throws his bomb, but it bounces right off the folded-down roof of the Archduke's car, rolls under the car behind them, and then explodes. The Archduke is shaken, but he's totally fine. The assassin? Well, he tries to kill himself with a cyanide pill that doesn't work, then jumps into a river that's only 4 inches deep. Yeah, he's arrested immediately.
So let's be really clear here. The plot was a total bust. It failed. The Archduke sped off to safety at the town hall. This right here, this is the moment the story should have ended. The day would have been nothing more than a weird footnote in a history book, but it wasn't. What happened next, inside that town hall, is a series of seemingly tiny decisions that all combine to create a coincidence so improbable, so insane, that no fiction writer would even dare to invent it.
Okay, so at the town hall, the Archduke is, as you can imagine, absolutely furious. But instead of just getting out of there, he insists on visiting the officers who were wounded in the bombing. So to keep him safe, General Oskar Potiorek changes the route. They're going to avoid the cramped city streets and just speed straight down the main road along the river to the hospital. It's a good plan, it's a safer plan.
This moment right here, it's just a simple but absolutely catastrophic breakdown in communication. A life-saving decision was made in that room, but the one person who actually needed to know about it, the man behind the wheel, was left completely in the dark.
And so as the motorcade pulls away from the town hall, the driver, Leopold Lojka, does exactly what he was originally supposed to do. He gets to the Latin Bridge and makes a right turn, heading right back into the crowded city streets. General Potiorek sees it immediately and just screams at him, "Stop! What are you doing? We're going the wrong way!"
So Lojka slams on the brakes. He tries to wrestle this heavy, old 1910 car into reverse, but the gears just grind. The engine lurches, and then it stalls. The car just stops dead in the middle of the street, a complete stationary target.
So you have to ask yourself, right, in an entire city, on any street corner, of all the places for this car to break down, where did fate decide it should happen?
It stalled less than 5 feet from a delicatessen. And standing right there, maybe grabbing a sandwich, was 19-year-old Gavrilo Princip. He was one of the other assassins from earlier. He'd failed. He had given up all hope. And then suddenly, by pure unbelievable chance, the target of his entire mission appears in a stalled car, sitting perfectly still, right in front of him.
Princip doesn't hesitate. He just pulls out his pistol and fires 2 shots. Bang! Bang! One hits Sophie, the second hits the Archduke in the neck. And as he lay dying,
His very last words were a plea to his wife, "Sophie, Sophie, don't die, stay alive for our children." By 11:30 that morning, they were both dead.
Just think about that. If the driver hadn't turned, the car wouldn't have stalled, Principal never would have fired. But because he made that one turn, a single domino had just been tipped over, and what followed was a chain reaction that nobody on Earth could stop.
In just 37 days, the entire continent of Europe was engulfed in flames. Austria-Hungary blames Serbia for the assassination. Russia mobilizes its army to protect Serbia. Then Germany mobilizes to protect Austria-Hungary. And before you know it, France and Britain are pulled in by their own tangled alliances. The world went to war.
And the scale of what happened next is just staggering. From one stalled engine in Sarajevo, you can draw a straight, unbroken line through history. The collapse of four empires led directly to the Russian Revolution and the Soviet Union. The harsh treaty that ended that war created the perfect conditions for the rise of Adolf Hitler, which led directly to World War II and ultimately to the dawn of the nuclear age. It's a line of history that is almost too huge to even comprehend. But I think it's so important to remember that at the very, very start of that line, there wasn't a king or a general making some grand decision. There was just a man doing his job.
The driver, Leopold Lojka, he survived. He was just a guy who didn't get the memo, who just made a wrong turn. And can you imagine? He had to live with the knowledge of what that one simple mistake cost the world for the rest of his life.
It really forces you to ask a pretty profound question. What if General Podierik had just shouted 5 seconds sooner? What if the car's gears hadn't jammed? What if that one driver hadn't made that one wrong turn? What would our world, the one we live in right now, look like today? It's something worth thinking about.